Guys, so I wanted to show you guys a different product that I've been using in the RV. It's this washer that we just picked up from Amazon for around $80. So it's a spin dryer washer with a tube. We have it right now in the shower area so that any water that drains out will just drain out onto the ground. It looks like it'll be fine because it's a little bit of an offset. But this, so far, I've used it several times, and it's really yielded good results. So I wanted to just bring you guys in and show you how to use this and how it all works out. So give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and grab some clothes and fill that guy up. So just going to air out my dirty laundry. So you can't do it a gigantic batch. I would say I usually do 2 shirts and 2 sets of socks, and it just looks like that. And then we're just gonna put this guy right in, so it just fills it up that partial. You don't want to go too heavy. You would have to tighten the belts after a while. There's a belt drive underneath this thing, so it's belt driven at least. So if it does start slipping, you'll hear a squeaking noise. It's a little bit squeaky right now because I used it several times and I put too much stuff in it. So if you're going to do like heavy denim or anything like that, don't do multiple pairs of heavy denim pants. So this will actually work out with smaller loads. So 1 pair of pants and maybe a shirt and some socks, or socks and underwear, will work just fine in this guy. But the good thing about this is it only takes max 15 minutes. I usually only do it 12 minutes for the first initial cycle. So the first initial cycle is very simple. So you just go ahead, grab yourself your favorite detergent. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. We'll see. Favorite detergent. Go ahead, put this right here. Put this right there. And you don't want to fill it up too much because it gets too sudsy. So about there is good for this load. Dump it in. Now, I usually have this always set to drain while it's sitting there in storage. So it has a, here, I'm gonna flip you guys in the right direction. So it has drain, standard, and soft. So you want to make sure it's in standard before you start filling up water. Over here, you usually fill it right through here, but what we like to do, because it's a little bit easier and convenient, is we just grab, oh, well, that can go right in. That shower head goes right in here. Just throw it in there, and I usually just throw in cold water. And let that fill up to about, you'll see it on the side, it'll start filling up. I fill it up to about right here. It takes a little while because this is a water saving one. So what we'll do is I'll come back once I have it ready to start, and you guys can see and hear how it works. Okay, so I usually fill it up to there with that much clothes in here. You might have to fill it a lot more in order to get, if you have more clothes in here or they're bulkier, fill it up to a lot higher. But I like to start out here, listen to how the machine works and how it whirls for a second, and make sure that I'm at the right level. Yeah, this is really the time-consuming part, is really getting this set. So you can kind of see it. They can move around down there. It's not sudsy right now, but it will be in a little bit. So what you're gonna do is just close the lid. Turn your, here, I'm gonna turn you guys around the right way. Turn you guys over. I do about 12 minutes. So you can see there. It doesn't just spin in one direction, it goes both directions. So it'll take a few seconds to spin one direction, and then it changes the other way. And then the other thing you can see is a little bit of suds, so don't add too much soap, otherwise it will be very, very sudsy. So there's that. So we're gonna let that go. I'll bring you back once that is done, and I'll show you how to do a rinse cycle, because there's multiple steps to this. So I'll bring you back once we're ready for that. Okay, now that it's done, you're wanting to actually go ahead and turn this knob to drain, which is that way. And you want to make sure, because this is a gravity fed one, it doesn't have a electric pump to drain it out. You want to make sure that your hose is down on the ground. If it's up here, it's just going to fill up this guy, which is not really good. So you want to make sure your hose is properly on the ground, ready to drain out whatever gunk is coming out. I kind of want to show you this because this is kind of proof that it's working. So I'm going to move this over here just for we can see. So I got to turn this, drain, and it's going to immediately start draining. I don't know if you can see the discoloration in the camera, but it's pretty dark. I'm not crazy dirty with my clothes, but I mean, it's also the detergents you use. They really clear out a lot of stuff, and whatever detergent you use usually is strong enough to clear out most of the grime and dirt. So it does work pretty nicely. So we're going to let this completely drain out, which is relatively fast, faster than the filling process. And then what you're going to do, that's basically, you're going to use this little guy, and there's this plastic bit. You want to definitely take that out first. That's gonna crush down the clothes and keep them down packed while it's spinning. So we're gonna take our clothes, pretty sopping wet, and we're gonna go ahead and dry them. And you want to also make sure in this step the hose is definitely down, because that's where it's gonna drain out of. So you're gonna do a spin cycle, a quick one, just to let all this soapy water drain out of your clothes. And then we'll take you to the next step. So basically put that down. Close this lid. And then you're going to go over to this timer, make sure you're still on drain. Go over to this timer. I usually just do 3 minutes. And it's going to spin up. And look at all the water coming out. So I found that this spin cycle really does dry them well enough to put up on a clothesline. So make sure you have a clothesline. It's not going to completely dry out a lot of your clothes. A lot of the metallics, synthetic, not metallic, synthetic fibered clothes seem to be drying a lot faster inside the spin dryer. It almost comes out completely dry. On the cotton clothes, it takes a little bit longer to really dry that out. So we're going to let that just spin dry, and then I'll come back in the next minute or so once that's done. Show you the other rinse cycle, because right now it's only getting a lot of the water out. Some of the soap particles might be still in there, so it's a good idea to, once this is done drying, rinse them completely out, soak them again, and then dry them one more time, and then you should be good at that point. Alright, see you in a second. Okay, now that it's done drying, make sure that this completely stops before opening this lid. I mean, it does have a little break, but instead of using that break, just let it slow down by itself. So you're going to open this up, first time drying it from the washer. We're going to just take our shower head, bring her over a little bit so I have some slack. I'm going to try to do this one-handed again. Washing it. Make sure it's nice and soaked. I usually go until I see water coming out of the hose down here. If I don't see water coming out of the hose, then I don't do anything. It looks like it's just starting to Just give it a nice soak. Okay. Now that's done, and then go ahead and shut off the water. Bring this guy up. And then we're going to close it back up. Shut it up. Do another 3-minute cycle. Now it might move around on you a little bit, but once it gets going and gets a nice equilibrium in there, it'll stay still. It vibrates a little bit, but that's how loud it gets for the spin cycle. So we're going to let that go. And then after that, we just take them out. We go ahead and hang them up, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so as you can see, drying process is done. The cotton socks are a little bit moist. This is definitely damp. This is definitely moist again. Moist, but they're not sopping wet, so they'll take like a few hours to really dry out. We usually just put up a nice little fan for the cotton shirts, but we usually hang our clothes in the inside just for these smaller loads that we've always been doing, and then we just cycle them throughout the day, and that tends to work well for us. So this one, pretty good. I wouldn't say this will replace all your washing needs. Blankets and other like linens wise, like bigger bulkier items, I would say not to use this for, but to supplement your washes and reduce the amount of time that you're going to different laundromats. Really good, saves a little bit of money, saves a little bit of hassle too. And if you absolutely need like clean pair of underwear, some shirts, just to get you through a few days if you're out someplace, it really helps. So I would say it's definitely worth to get this little machine for like 80 bucks. That's what I actually bought it. I'll have a link in the description to this one. I don't have an affiliate link, so don't worry, I'm not getting paid for this. This is just my honest opinion of it for an RVer. Very good for just getting light stuff done and keeping yourself clean. So anyways, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you'd like. And thank you for watching.